Chapter 501, 287. Kill a legendary level expert. Shocking the entire audience. _2. I want to try to assassinate Vice Governor yet. I may need your assistance at that time. Can you do it? Assassinate Vice Governor yet? Shen Qinghan's brows knitted even tighter, her eyes reflecting disbelief, hardly daring to believe the words she heard from Lin Zikan. That was a Vice Governor. His power was unfathomable. An existence even more formidable than City Lord Qin Chuan. How would they go about assassinating him? Though filled with doubts and fear, Shen Qinghan did not want to let Lin Zikan down, and ultimately she gritted her teeth and nodded, saying, "It can be done." After speaking, she added, "I will follow your commands throughout the whole process. Whatever you ask me to do, I will do. I will complete the task you've assigned to me perfectly." Listening to her firm and confident words and feeling the continuous outpour of sweat from her palm that did not quite match her words, Lin Zikan solemnly said, I believe you." While the two discussed these plans, the leaders of the city were already engaged in a fierce battle with Ye Yongsheng on the high wall. The battle was extremely intense. Barely after making contact, the shockwaves had already toppled vast stretches of the city wall. Many people and alien races close by with lower biological levels were directly obliterated by the aftershocks. "Lord Yet, do you need this king's assistance?" A sky lion with 8 wings on its back circled high above the battle, looking down condescendingly at Ye Yongsheng below. Its biological level was only at legendary first order, not as high as Ye Yongsheng's. But the tone it spoke in was one of condescension, showing no regard for Ye Yongsheng at all. It was the illegitimate son of the Night King, a descendant of mythical level, with an extraordinary status. It naturally acted superior and arrogant before Ye Yongsheng. Ye Yongsheng perceived the sky lion's arrogance and felt displeased internally, but did not show it. He responded calmly, "No need, I can handle it here by myself. You quickly seize this place." The sky lion laughed. Lord Ye is indeed a legendary high-order expert, truly confident. After dropping that somewhat sarcastic remark, the sky lion quickly moved past the battle below to hover over the central area of the city. "Pitiable ants, it's time for you to truly understand what it means to be powerful." Looking down at the people in the city with eyes full of contempt, the sky lion spoke. The moment the words fell, its giant 8 wings expanded thousands of times in an instant, enveloping the city below so tightly that no light could penetrate. Then, swoosh swoosh swoosh! A series of sharp whooshing sounds erupted. A multitude of feathers, infused with origin force, violently shot out from the colossal wings, hurtling towards the city at the speed of light, aiming directly at the earthlings below. Thud thud thud! Accompanied by a series of sounds of flesh being pierced by sharp objects. Over half of the earthlings in the city had been hit by the feathers, their bodies suddenly riddled with shocking bloody holes. A vast amount of blood spurted from these wounds, staining the entire ground blood red. Lin Zikan glanced at the sky lion in the sky, probing its biological level. Seeing that the biological level was only at legendary first order, he was slightly stunned. Thinking he had perceived it incorrectly. With a biological level of just legendary first order, yet speaking with such a condescending tone, treating everything like ants. If one didn't know, they might think it was a mythical level expert. "You take care of the people, I'll handle it." Upon learning that the sky lion's biological level was merely at the mere legendary first order, Lin Zikan immediately left with that message, and with a buzz, he charged into the sky. This sky lion's attack range was too vast, and its destructive power to the battlefield was immense, it had to be dealt with as a priority. As Lin Zikan rushed towards the sky lion, Shen Qinghan was not idle below. She suddenly unleashed her spiritual power, and with a thought, she remotely controlled the blood on the ground, meticulously separating the mixed blood and returning it back to its respective bodies. Under this extraordinary treatment, Many of the wounded on the ground who had been on the brink of death due to excessive loss of chi blood instantly pulled back from the gates of hell, regaining their lives. What an astonishing treatment method! How did she do that? So strong. Inside the city, many people noticed Shen Qinghan's actions, utterly astounded by her miraculous treatment method, their faces filled with disbelief. This was especially true for Luo Qingxiu. This genius, who had been hailed as having the highest evolutionary talent before Lin Zikan and Shen Qinghan's arrival, now widened her eyes in disbelief and questioned life upon witnessing Shen Qinghan's treatment. She couldn't understand, and it was incomprehensible. When Shen Qinghan first joined the alien human-level genius squad, she was an unnoticed, transparent presence. How much time had passed, and suddenly she had grown to such an exaggerated extent. Had she consumed evolution resources of an extremely high grade? On the other side, in the high sky, Lin Zikan burst forth with the fastest speed of his life, instantly charging in front of the heavenly lion, swinging his fist coated with rich blood chi power, and violently slamming a punch towards the giant head of the heavenly lion. The heavenly lion sensed that the intensity of the blood chi power on Lin Zikan's fist was not high, merely at the mere legendary 6th order. At this, it couldn't help but let out a laugh. With a biological level of merely legendary 6th order, where did you get the courage to challenge me? But soon, it could no longer laugh. The blood chi strength of Lin Zikan was not that high, far inferior to the heavenly lion's blood chi strength. However, under the enhancement of biometric attributes such as natural selection, social animal, ultimate hardening, and others, the power increased drastically, enough to frictionally tear large rifts in the void in the air. Boom! A massive collision sound abruptly exploded. Lin Zikan fiercely punched the heavenly lion's giant head, instantly turning the entire head into a mist of blood. The heavenly lion had not expected Lin Zikan to be so strong. Facing Lin Zikan's incoming punch, it hadn't even reacted to block when its head had already turned into a mist of blood. But the next second, its head, which had burst into a mist of blood, instantly reconstituted flesh and blood, showing no sign of having been injured. It must be quick. Not allowing the alien races to react and come in support. Utilizing the uncertainty of himself and Shen Qinghan. Nobody knows the extent of their strength. Then, launching a surprise attack on Ye Yongsheng. Lin Zikan directly tore Ye Yongsheng apart, leaving everyone else in shock. After killing Ye Yongsheng, Lin Zikan chose to head towards the 36th city leading to the southern domain. The 36th city, connected to Shanghai City. Worried that it couldn't hold on. The origin land is vast. There were obstacles all along the way. After traveling for nearly half a month, encountering countless enemies, evolving along the way, devouring source crystals. Only then did he successfully arrive near the 36th city. Yuan Dongji had just recovered and came to join the battle. Many people were present. Yuan Dongji, Lu Juanwu, Song Yuan, and others. Yuan Dongji was seriously injured and had not yet fully recovered. From the high skies of the central region, sounds of grand battles occasionally carried through. A sky-piercing colossal tree broke through the clouds. At this moment, outside the 36th city, a great battle ensued. The city felt like it was about to be breached. Entering the central region, entering the relics, acquiring power, evolving frantically. The central region is actually the very center of the abyss. The abysses in the other domains are all extensions of the abyss in the central region. Then came legendary level. After that, the situation flipped in an instant, with the forces of the Sun-Moon Sacred Land overwhelming the other side into a crushing defeat. Ultimately, the battle concluded with a decisive victory for the Sun-Moon Sacred Land. Earthlings completely withdrew from the origin spot. Entering the central region, entering the relics, acquiring power, evolving frantically. The central region is actually the very center of the abyss. The abysses in the other domains are all extensions of the abyss in the central region. Then came legendary level. After that, the situation flipped in an instant, with the forces of the Sun Moon Sacred Land overwhelming the other side into a crushing defeat. Ultimately, the battle concluded with a decisive victory for the Sun Moon Sacred Land. Earthlings completely withdrew from the origin spot. P.S. Holding out my bowl, asking for monthly pass recommendations. Chapter 502, 288, Vice Governor. The one who was killed is the Vice Governor. Over the city. Massive amounts of blood chi ignited into crimson flames, which instantly burned into nothingness, completely vanishing from the world. Many people felt the searing heat of the flames and, as if by some unspoken agreement, looked up at the sky. What caught their eyes was a young man hovering high above, as well as a huge, headless lion's body. Soon, a mass of fresh, red flesh sprouted from where the lion's head had been severed, interweaving rapidly to form a huge lion's head. Who on earth are you? The celestial lion, having grown a head once again, looked at Lin Zikin with a face full of terror and asked. Before it had led the attack on City No. 1, it had understood the top combat forces within the city, and had never heard of someone named Lin Zikin. Faced with its confusion, Lin Zikin showed no intention of providing an explanation, responding with just a fist imbued with an immense amount of blood chi power. Boom! A thunderous boom that could shatter eardrums resounded. Lin Zikin's fist pounded the celestial lion. The blood chi power exploding out like a supernova's gargantuan force, engulfing the massive lion's body in a searing, blood-red carnage. The residual force from the impact shook the city below slightly, and the dispersed blood chi was so hot it made creatures break out in sweating profusely. Then, accompanied by a rain of blood, a colossal lion's body plummeted from the sky at great speed. A huge hole gaped in the chest of the lion. Blood poured out. The life force within rapidly drained away. Boom! Shortly after the lion's body had fallen, another massive impact resounded, echoing across the entire sky. The moment the sound ceased, the nearly sky-blocking huge lion's body burst open like an exploding watermelon, turning into a dense rain of blood that fell upon the city below. The rich scent of blood filled the entire sky. The rain of blood fell rapidly. But before a single drop could touch the ground, all the blood was sucked upward by a tremendous force, transforming from falling to rising, and coalesced into a thick, vibrant red blood sphere, quietly hovering in Lin Zikin's palm. Don't kill me! I am the son of the Night King, an offspring of a mythical level creature. You can ask for anything, and I will satisfy it. Please, show mercy and spare my life. Inside the thick blood sphere, a wisp of the celestial lion's soul cried out for mercy. Lin Zikin, unswayed by its pleas, willed forth a powerful spiritual force that began to erode the soul within the blood sphere. Under the grinding of his spiritual power, the celestial lion within the blood sphere experienced an agony worse than death, its spirit on the verge of collapse. While its soul was not yet completely eroded, the celestial lion, in a last-ditch struggle, mustered the last of its energy and shouted desperately toward Ye Yongsheng in the distance. Lord Ye, save me! The cry, laden with the power of blood chi, pierced through layer upon layer of air, reaching Ye Yongsheng's ears without delay. At this moment, Ye Yongsheng was fully engaged in combat with several leaders of the city, fighting with earth-shattering intensity, causing waves of destruction that almost turned the battlefield into a life-forbidden zone. Suddenly hearing the celestial lion's plea for help, Ye Yongsheng couldn't help but furrow his brows, puzzled. Nearly all of the city's strong were here, besieging him, the vice-governor. In such circumstances, the celestial lion, with a biological level of legendary first order, should be an invincible existence within the city. What could have happened that the supposed invincible celestial lion had emitted such a cry for help? With this question in mind, Ye Yongsheng, without compromising his own performance, extended a minute strand of his spiritual force, following the celestial lion's cry for help. When he saw Lin Zikin suspended high above the city, holding a blood sphere that wrapped the celestial lion's soul, he was completely taken aback, wondering if he was hallucinating. Lin Zikin? What exactly was going on? How could the legendary First Order Celestial Lion have fallen into his hands? Epic 6th Order? His biological level is actually at the Epic 6th Order? How is that possible? Ye Yongsheng was utterly baffled. When he had first recommended Lin Zikan to join the alien human level genius team, Lin Zikan's biological level was at an ordinary stage. His strength merely on par with high-level creatures. How much time had passed since then? It seemed to be just about a year or so. In such a short time, Lin Zikan had grown from the lowest ordinary rank to a point where he could single-handedly slay a legendary first-order creature. How had he achieved this? Ye Yongsheng couldn't understand this point and felt perplexed. Although puzzled, at this moment, he didn't have the time to dwell too much on this. He quickly unleashed a powerful pressure, briefly blasting away the surrounding city leaders, then rushed towards Lin Zikan at the fastest speed. He could sense that the sliver of soul of the celestial lion within the blood sphere was being rapidly eroded by Lin Zikan using spiritual power. It wouldn't be long before it would vanish into smoke and disappear. The celestial lion was a descendant of the Night King. As a traitor, he had to protect the descendant of this mythical level expert. Otherwise, he would be held accountable afterward and suspected of collusion. Quick, stop him, don't let him get away. The city leaders who were besieging Ye Yongsheng thought he was suddenly leaving the battlefield because he knew he was no match and was fleeing in panic. They immediately shouted excitedly, wanting to pursue their advantage. Ye Yongsheng was blocked and couldn't rush to the rescue of the celestial lion for the time being. And in that brief moment, the soul of the celestial lion within the blood sphere had been completely eroded by Lin Zikan. At the same time, a heavenly phenomenon occurred. A gigantic figure of the celestial lion was projected above the city, catching the eyes of all the living beings in the southern domain. Then, under the watchful eyes of all the living beings in the southern domain, it shattered into scattered points of light and completely disappeared from this world. A legendary creature had thus fallen. It was the first legendary level expert to fall on this battlefield. Lin Zikan paid no mind to the anomaly above his head, and seeing that the soul of the celestial lion within the blood sphere had been eroded, he immediately thought, "Devour. You have devoured a large amount of the eight-winged celestial lion's life origin. You have successfully unlocked the eight-winged celestial lion's album, gaining the biometric attribute Sky Dominator. Sky Dominator, your flying ability has been greatly enhanced. You have devoured a large amount of origin force from the eight-winged celestial lion, transforming origin force into chi blood and spirit, significantly enhancing your spirit. Your biological level has evolved from Epic 6th Order to Epic 7th Order. Under the effects of survival of the fittest and devouring source, as soon as Lin Zikan finished devouring the life origin of the eight-winged celestial lion, 5 prompt messages flashed through the void deep within his mind. Seeing his biological level evolve to Epic 7th Order, becoming a high-level epic creature, Lin Zikan felt somewhat uplifted. The effects of devouring source, this biometric attribute, were far more potent than he had imagined. Previously, devouring the corpses of alien races only yielded the corresponding biometric attributes. But now, it also improved chi blood and spirit, and the speed of evolution surged several levels. There were still many alien races in the city. A lot of epic level. And some at legendary level. If he could kill and devour all these aliens, then perhaps his biological level could advance further, evolving to Epic 8th Order, or even Epic 9th Order. Optimistically, he might even break through the barrier of epic level and evolve to Legendary First Order. Once he truly evolved to Legendary First Order, he would be even more confident in defeating Ye Yongsheng. Thinking of this, Lin Zikan felt a surge of excitement. Immediately, without wasting a single moment, he dived down and charged towards those invading aliens in the city. Kill the small ones first, then the big ones, not sparing a single one. Once he had killed all he could and had devoured enough, he would make his move against Ye Yongsheng. Optimistically, he might even break through the barrier of epic level and evolve to Legendary First Order. Once he truly evolved to Legendary First Order, he would be even more confident in defeating Ye Yongsheng. Thinking of this, Lin Zikan felt a surge of excitement. Immediately, without wasting a single moment, he dived down and charged towards those invading aliens in the city. Kill the small ones first, then the big ones, not sparing a single one. Once he had killed all he could and had devoured enough, then it would be time to deal with Ye Yongsheng, this traitor. P.S. These past few days it has rained heavily where I live, my car got flooded, and the battery nearly got ruined. I had to stay at the forest shop for almost a day, so today's chapter can only be a bit shorter. Chapter 503, 289, Mythical Beast Phoenix? Killed in one round. The son of the Night King had died. Ye Yongsheng stared at the sky, looking dazed by the change caused by the fall of the celestial lion. In his crimson eyes, which had changed due to the fusion with the exotic beast gene, a trace of fear towards death was clearly visible. The offspring of a mythical level creature had fallen right before him. His position as vice-governor today owed much to the Night King's support over the years. Having failed to rescue the Night King's son in time, he was bound to be the target of the Night King's fury afterward. Now, everything was over. No. There was still a chance. Capture Lin Zikan alive and deliver him to the Night King. In doing so, he still had a sliver of vitality. It could still be remedied. With this idea of redeeming his faults through merits, Ye Yongsheng's eyes hardened, and he sacrificed all the essence blood he could in his body, fully activating the various exotic beast genes inside him. The next second, his blood vessels swelled under his skin, his muscles expanded several times, and a pair of enormous black wings burst from his back, unfolding with a momentum that blotted out the sun, casting all the city's leaders into a shadow. At the same time, tiny crimson tendrils grew around his mouth, and his ears elongated, resembling a gigantic, muscular, humanoid bat. Then, a terrifying wave of sound was released from his mouth, echoing repeatedly in the shadow covered by the black wings. Crack! 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 Only the crisp sound of something bursting could be heard. Under the impact of the sound wave, the air within the shadow was instantly filled with fissures, spreading like a spider web, constantly oozing a cold, deadly aura. The city leaders within the shadow, under this sonic assault, felt an intense headache, their minds fogging. Those among them below the legendary level especially lost consciousness entirely, their eyes void, leaving behind only soulless bodies. Quick, sacrifice your essence blood, raise your strength rapidly to withstand this attack. A city leader at the legendary First Order level frantically sacrificed his own essence blood to temporarily enhance his strength while shouting out loud to remind others around him. Hearing his shout, those leaders whose consciousness was still clear all made a desperate move. Sacrificed their essence blood without regard for their lives, temporarily greatly increasing their strength. To counter Ye Yongsheng's sonic attack. Kill this traitor! The city leader at the legendary Fourth Order level, acting as the leader, commanded everyone with a do-or-die resolve to take the lead in attacking Ye Yongsheng above. Seeing this, the others immediately followed closely behind in the attack. A bunch of ants! Ye Yongsheng looked down disdainfully at the people charging at him, his expression filled with utter contempt. As soon as he spoke, he violently flapped the giant black wings on his back and summoned numerous pitch-black bloodthirsty demon bats from the shadows, swarming toward the attacking masses like a dense swarm of bees. In his eyes, all beings other than those at the mythical level were nothing but trash, unworthy of challenging him. Meanwhile, Lin Zikan, inside the city, had already charged towards the invading alien races. Fist to flesh, he destroyed a swath of alien races with each punch, devouring a large amount of life origin, gaining biometric attributes, converting a vast amount of origin force into chi blood and spirit for his own use. During this, he noticed a sudden change in the legendary level battlefield above, each residual implosion stronger than the last, causing his heart to plummet. But after observing for a moment, he saw that the city leaders were evenly matched with Ya Yongsheng, and a victor could not be determined for the time being. He then slightly relaxed and focused on killing and devouring the alien races. He didn't need the city leaders to defeat Ya Yongsheng. He just needed them to hold Ya Yongsheng off for a while to allow him ample time to slay and devour. And possibly to wear Ya Yongsheng down as much as possible. That would be enough. You have devoured a large amount of deep forest tree demon's life origin, gaining the biometric attribute Vitality suddenly. Vitality suddenly, the vitality within your body has increased significantly. You have devoured a large amount of origin force from the deep mountain old demon, converting it into chi blood and spirit, greatly enhancing your chi blood strength and spiritual strength. You have devoured a large amount of Silent Doom Black Ant's life origin, gaining the biometric attribute Rapid Decay. Rapid Decay, your attacks cause the target to enter a rapid decay abnormal state. You have devoured a large amount of origin force from the Silent Doom Black Ant, converting it into chi blood and spirit, greatly enhancing your chi blood strength and spiritual strength. You have devoured a large amount of Thousand-Eyed Demon Spider's life origin, gaining the biometric attribute Heavenly Net. Heavenly Net, your fingertips can spray fibers with toughness equivalent to your biological level. You have devoured a large amount of origin force from the Thousand-Eyed Demon Spider, converting it into chi blood and spirit, greatly enhancing your chi blood strength and spiritual strength. Your biological level has evolved from Epic 7th Order to Epic 8th Order. He had evolved. Lin Zikan, seeing this prompt that flashed through the void momentarily, felt a surge of excitement in his heart. The alien races were not even devoured in significant numbers yet, he hadn't even started devouring the legendary level alien races, but his biological level had already evolved. From this, it seemed likely that if he could devour most of the alien races within the city, his biological level had a great opportunity to break through the epic level barrier and evolve to legendary First Order. Thinking this, Lin Zikan's feet suddenly exerted force, propelling him like a spring, directly targeting the phoenix of legendary Second Order that hovered above the beasts. Chapter 504, 289, Mythical Beast Phoenix? Killed in one round, _2. It was a black phoenix, its body enshrouded in terrifying black flames, hovering in midair like a tiny sun emitting a heat that could melt everything. At this moment, the black phoenix was clashing with a group of powerful fighters in the city. Under its formidable assault, the warriors of the city were simply unable to resist. The gap in biological levels was too vast. The Black Phoenix was a legendary level Second Order creature. And those so-called powerful fighters of the city, battling her, had almost all only reached the epic level, with only the team leader achieving a legendary level First Order. With such power, they simply could not contend against her. "Commander, we can't win. The disparity in strength is too great. If this continues, we'll all be annihilated eventually," said a one-armed woman of epic 9th Order, enduring the intense pain of losing an arm and drenched in cold sweat as she shouted to a man not far ahead. She was originally a person with all limbs intact. But just now, in the clash with the Black Phoenix, her right arm unfortunately touched those black flames on the surface of the phoenix and was instantly incinerated, scattering into ash with the wind. "We have no choice but to be annihilated. We must hold back this Black Phoenix and prevent her from joining the legendary level battle above," the man said solemnly with determination. The legendary level battle he referred to was the major battle where the city's leaders were surrounding and attacking Ya Yongsheng. In that battle, both sides were currently equally matched, neither gaining the upper hand. For the moment, it was difficult to discern a clear trend in victory or defeat. In such a battle where forces were evenly matched, if the Black Phoenix joined in, the scales of victory would completely tilt towards Ya Yongsheng's side. Then, the city would be completely overtaken by alien races, its biological channels thoroughly breached, plunging Earth into a disaster filled with despair. "Our only task now is to hold off this Black Phoenix and prevent her from influencing the legendary level battlefield above. Otherwise, once the legendary level battle above is lost, Earth will face an unprecedented disaster. Many of our families live on Earth. To protect our families, we must give it our all and not be afraid of dying. Seeing the morale dip, the man raised his voice loudly to inspire. His voice carried a hint of blood chi power, used to quickly spread and amplify the volume of his voice. Delusional ants! The Black Phoenix said condescendingly, looking down. Just as she was preparing to flutter her wings and incinerate all the Earth warriors surrounding her. Buzz! A piercing sound of breaking air suddenly erupted from the side, buzzing in people's eardrums. The Black Phoenix looked in the direction the sound came from, and saw a figure enveloped in blood chi power. After sensing for a moment, she discovered that the Comer's biological level was only epic 8th order. She immediately felt insulted by her own strength and became furiously embarrassed. Arrogance! An epic level ant dares to challenge me? Does she think I am as useless as that 8-winged celestial lion? Ignorance is truly bliss. Seeking death. With her fury fueled by embarrassment, the Black Phoenix spread her massive wings and fiercely launched a swath of black flames towards Linziken, who was advancing on her. She wanted to confront Linziken directly, letting this epic level ant truly experience what a real legendary level expert was like. Boom, boom, boom. As a terrifying boom resonated, massive black flames surged toward Linziken like tidal waves, transforming into a gigantic fire beast that tore open a huge fiery maw, attempting to engulf Linziken, charging towards it and incinerate him into ash. Facing the raging fire beast, Linziken felt no fear inside. He merely raised his fist wrapped in blood chi power. Casually, he launched it forward. The next moment, boom! A deafening blast erupted. The oppressive fire beast was directly scattered by an even more oppressive punch, transforming into a sky full of sparks that dissipated into the air, completely vanishing. Seeing this, the Black Phoenix, with her somewhat enchanting face suddenly filled with horror, felt fear from Linziken's punch. Death! She would definitely die if she clashed heads-on with him. Flee! The Black Phoenix reacted swiftly. After witnessing the terrifying power of Linziken's punch, she immediately turned and fled, not daring to linger for a moment, completely losing the desire to confront Linziken. She had seen what happened to the Celestial Lion. At that time, she thought the Celestial Lion simply lacked skill, felt it was a disgrace among the legendary, and thought it was only because of its fortunate parentage that it had evolved into a legendary level creature without real strength. But from that punch of Linziken's, she instantly realized something. The reason the Celestial Lion was overpowered by Linziken was not because the Celestial Lion was too weak, but because Linziken was ridiculously strong. This Earthling, whose biological level appeared to be only epic level, possessed a true strength far beyond the epic level, a terrifying existence indeed. Buzz! The Black Phoenix fled at a tremendous speed. With a breaking sound, in the blink of an eye, she had already flown dozens of miles away, completely leaving the city behind. Seeing the Black Phoenix flee so decisively, all the city's warriors surrounding her were utterly shocked. They could hardly believe the scene before their eyes. A Black Phoenix with a biological level as high as legendary 2nd order was actually scared away by Linziken? What was going on? What was the deal with this Linziken? He had only entered the Origin Land less than 2 years ago. His rapid evolution to rare level had already shocked everyone in the city. It hadn't been long before suddenly he had evolved to a legendary level. How could it be so preposterous? Transformed into a woman, the Black Phoenix entices. The Black Phoenix falls. Until the moment before her death, the Black Phoenix couldn't understand. An Earthling of the epic level, why could he overpower and kill beyond his level? The others were shocked. Linziken kept fighting the alien races. Luckily, he evolved to the 1st order of legendary level and killed Ye Yongsheng. Linziken ripped Ye Yongsheng apart with his bare hands, shocking everyone. After killing Ye Yongsheng, Linziken chose to head towards city number 36 in the southern domain. City number 36, which links to Shanghai City. Worried that they couldn't hold it there. The origin land was vast. All along the way, there were obstructions. He traveled for nearly half a month. He encountered countless enemies. Evolved along the way. Devouring source crystals. Only then did he successfully arrive near city number 36. Yuan Dongji had just recovered and joined the battle. Many people were there. Yuan Dongji, Lu Chuanwu, Song Yuan, and others. Yuan Dongji was severely injured, still not fully recovered. From the high skies of the central region, sounds of intense battles occasionally came. A giant tree that reached the sky broke through the clouds. At this time, outside city number 36, the massive battle unfolded. The city felt like it was going to be breached. Moving into the central region, entering abandoned sites, acquiring power, evolving frantically. Central region was actually at the very heart of the abyss. The abysses in the other domains all spread out from the abyss of the central region. Then, the legendary level. Following that, the situation was instantly reversed, as they were defeated dismally by the forces of the Sun-Moon Sacred Land. In the end, in this great battle, the faction of the Sun-Moon Sacred Land was overwhelmingly victorious. The Earthlings fully retreated from the original area. Because Shen Qinghan was still trapped in the Palace of Water God and could not leave. Lin Zikan alone defended the lone city to protect Shen Qinghan. City number 1. In the end, after Shen Qinghan recovered, Lin Zikan escaped with Shen Qinghan into the abyss. It was exactly like what he had seen in his dreams. Leveraging the abyss monsters, the protagonist killed legendary or mythical level experts. The protagonist stood with his back to the abyss, as the abyss master. Using the abyss monsters, killing mythical level creatures, the sky changed colors, various anomalies appeared, shocking everyone. The Great Battle on Earth. Nuclear weapons. Mechanically modified humans making their entry. Moving into the central region, entering abandoned sites, acquiring power, evolving frantically. Central region was actually at the very heart of the abyss. The abysses in the other domains all spread out from the abyss of the central region. Then, the legendary level. Following that, the situation was instantly reversed, as they were defeated dismally by the forces of the Sun-Moon Sacred Land. In the end, in this great battle, the faction of the Sun-Moon Sacred Land was overwhelmingly victorious. The Earthlings fully retreated from the original area. Because Shen Qinghan was still trapped in the Palace of Water God and could not leave. Lin Zikan alone defended the lone city to protect Shen Qinghan. City number 1. In the end, after Shen Qinghan recovered, Lin Zikan escaped with Shen Qinghan into the abyss. It was exactly like what he had seen in his dreams. Leveraging the abyss monsters, the protagonist killed legendary or mythical level experts. The protagonist stood with his back to the abyss, as the abyss master. Using the abyss monsters, killing mythical level creatures, the sky changed colors, various anomalies appeared, shocking everyone. Attacking Earth. Descriptions of mechanically modified humans, descriptions of nuclear weapons. P.S. Please spare me some monthly and recommendation tickets. Chapter 505, Son of the Abyss is born. Think you can escape? How could a duck that's reached the mouth fly away? Lin Zikan paid no mind to the astonished gazes of the people below. Seeing the black phoenix suddenly turn to flee, a thought flashed through his mind, and he unleashed his spiritual power, transforming into a streak of light as he pursued. Ahead. The black phoenix, in full flight, felt a rush of relief. How wise it was to flee decisively. Not staying to engage in a head-on clash. Otherwise, by now, it would likely have met the same fate as the celestial lion. What on earth is up with that earthling? No alien race genes in his body. Not old in biological age. How is he capable of unleashing such formidable combat power? The most outrageous part is that he can overpower legendary level creatures with his epic form. How does he do it? The Black Phoenix was utterly baffled. The performance Lin Zikin had just displayed had completely exceeded her understanding. Having lived in the Origin Land for so long, she had never seen such an anomalously powerful being. Boom! Suddenly, a tremendous noise came from the direction of the central region, shaking the earth and ripping the air apart with countless tiny, visible fissures. Following the sound of the explosion, the Black Phoenix's gaze landed on a sky-piercing giant tree in the central region, filled with both awe and puzzlement. The awe was because the giant tree was the wood god. The puzzlement was because the wood god had awakened prematurely. Why has the wood god awakened early? Has something happened? Will the fire god also awaken ahead of time? The Black Phoenix gazed at the giant tree far in the central region, thoughts racing in her mind. While she was engrossed in her thoughts, whiz! A sharply piercing sound of something tearing through the air suddenly came from behind her. The nearby atmosphere exploded into chaos. The roaring sound was incessant. Hearing the commotion behind her, the Black Phoenix's face changed dramatically, with a look of horror spreading across her enchanting features as quickly as ivy. How is it possible? How could he possibly catch up? My speed of flight ranks among the highest of all peers in the Origin Land. What on earth is happening? Whiz! 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 As the tearing sounds drew nearer, Lin Zikin was less than a kilometer away from the Black Phoenix. This distance was enough to strike down the target with a punch. But to ensure a one-hit kill, Lin Zikin chose not to strike just yet. 900 meters. 800 meters. 700 meters. 600 meters. 500 meters. When the distance between them was only 500 meters, Lin Zikin began to gather the chi blood in his body, quickly channeling it to his right fist. In a blink, a vast force of blood chi power spread from his right fist. Everywhere it passed, the air boiled. The Black Phoenix, still fleeing at high speed, felt the overwhelming blood chi and was frightened until her face turned utterly pale. The intensity of this blood chi power was too great. Far exceeding second-order legendary. Her own biological level, at just second-order legendary, couldn't withstand such immense strength of blood chi power. She could foresee that if she were to take a punch from Lin Zikin, she would definitely end up like the celestial lion, her physical body exploding into a cloud of blood mist, with her spiritual power erased into nothingness and her soul obliterated. With this thought, she didn't dare to hesitate for even a moment and decisively chose to give up resistance. She knew she couldn't escape any longer. So she simply stopped. Transforming into a beautiful woman donned in a black palace dress. Her appearance was stunning, with a hint of seductiveness. Her figure was curvy and voluptuous, her perfectly formed curves alluring and tempting. Spare my life. I am willing to be your female slave. At your command. The Black Phoenix, now in the form of a beautiful woman, turned to face the pursuing Lin Zikin and shouted. Her voice was earnest. While speaking, she did not forget to flaunt her impressive upper body, attempting to seduce Lin Zikin. She was a noble Black Phoenix, with the lineage of the fire god and a naturally high status. She thought, willing to become a female slave to an earthling, there was no way any earthling could resist. Just as she was so certain of this. Whiz! Accompanied by a piercing tearing sound, Lin Zikin charged in front of the Black Phoenix, raised his fist charged with blood chi power, and brutally punched toward her human form. The Black Phoenix wore an expression of terror, not expecting Lin Zikin to be so merciless, willing to strike down a phoenix of such beauty. Boom! Soon, a loud explosion was heard. The second-order legendary Black Phoenix was directly pulverized, along with her soul, into a crimson mist of blood. Not even given a chance to recreate her flesh. And thus, she fell. Right up until the moment before her death, the Black Phoenix still couldn't comprehend how an epic-level earthling could overpower and kill a creature from the Origin Land. In the sky above the city, Ye Yongsheng was still clashing with a group of desperate city leaders, and the massive disturbance from their exchange continued unabated, shaking the ground below and tearing the air around with a multitude of fissures. Suddenly, boom! Dozens of miles away from the city, in the dangerous zone, a terrifying loud noise erupted. Ye Yongsheng and the leaders in the city were all alarmed by the noise and turned their heads to look in the direction from which it came. What then appeared before their eyes was an expanse of dense blood chi power bursting from the dangerous area, and in the sky above the dangerous area appeared signs of a legendary level expert's fall. Seeing the anomaly in the sky above the dangerous zone, whether it was Ye Yongsheng or the leaders in the city, their first thought was that the Black Phoenix had fallen. Like the earlier fallen eight-winged celestial lion, it died at the hands of Lin Zikan. Subsequently sending out spiritual power to sense, it indeed turned out to be just as they had thought. It was the Black Phoenix that had fallen. Dead at the hands of Lin Zikan. Without leaving a trace of remains. Only a patch of crimson blood mist remained. That was a second-order legendary creature with a hint of the fire god's bloodline. To think it just died at the hands of Lin Zikan. What on earth is going on? Ye Yongsheng silently gazed at the dangerous area dozens of miles away, his face showing a mix of life's doubts, confusion, and sheer terror. Lin Zikan's strength was incredibly incomprehensible. Ye Yongsheng suspected that Lin Zikan had some unknown ancient heritage behind him, perhaps backed by an ancient being as powerful as the Five Elements God. Otherwise, it was truly impossible to explain the astonishing combat power displayed by Lin Zikan. Across from them, the leaders in the city were also full of shock, unanimously turning their gaze towards the anomaly in the dangerous area, their eyes filled with disbelief. Lin Zikan was an unprecedented evolutionary genius, of this they were aware. He had evolved into a rare-level creature within less than a year of arriving from Origin Land, crushed an entire team of alien human-level geniuses, and even Instructor Lan Tianbei was no match for him. Moreover, he had many kinds of incredible special abilities. He could control plants. He could burrow into the ground. He could completely conceal his vitality and so on. In terms of biometric abilities, he was even more powerful than genetic integrators. Lin Zikan, who had achieved all this before, had already broken everyone's recognition as a shocking evolutionary genius, stirring many old monsters. However, today Lin Zikan's displayed strength far surpassed his previous performance. To kill an epic-level creature was as simple as crushing ants, effortless. Killing a first-order legendary level 8-winged celestial lion and a second-order legendary level black phoenix was also done in just one encounter. Such strength, appearing in an earthling who was still of college age, was simply inconceivable, puzzling. This Lin Zikan, did he have some unknown powerful ancient legacy? The leaders in the city came to the same thought as Ye Yongsheng. For the might Lin Zikan showed, they all thought of the same explanation. Aside from this explanation, they could find no other more plausible reason. In this world, there has never been strength without reason, nor geniuses without cause. Every genius, if traced back to its roots, could be linked to some mysterious ancient bloodline. The might of the celestial lion stemmed from the bloodline of its father, the Night King. The might of the Black Phoenix stemmed from the bloodline of its ancestor, the Fire God. The might of the Sea God came from the grace of its master, the Water God. Based on the aforementioned patterns, Lin Zikan, at such a young age, could only be so mighty with the support of some ancient legacy. Ye Yongsheng, the leader of the city, along with the other powerful figures present, all unanimously believed this. High above the central region, countless vines surged skyward, occupying the entire sky. A vast amount of highly toxic pollen spread through the air. The dense branches and leaves covered the sky, plunging the entire central region into a cold shadow. Qi King Mo, the sea god, Su Maiziao, Li Lao, Xian Yuan Wanyu, and Sima Xian, these 6 mythical level experts, were now trapped in this shadow, unable to escape. Those who were usually invincible, were now utterly suppressed by the wood god's powerful and dense attacks, with no ability to fight back. The wood god's rank had already surpassed that of the mythical level. The 6 individuals, merely of mythical biological level, even if they joined forces to resist with all their might, didn't stand even the slightest chance of victory. This won't do, if we continue like this, we will all fall here. Sumai Xiao frowned her delicate brows, speaking with extreme gravity, we must find a way to escape, we can't keep resisting futilely. Xian Yuanwanyu mercilessly said, we all know that, but the question is how do we escape from this shadow? Her tone was extremely impatient as she spoke. Because she knew of Sumai Xiao's nature to play multiple sides, she felt a heartfelt disgust towards Sumai Xiao, the fox woman who did not adhere to the morals of a wife. Boom! Suddenly, a huge commotion came from the direction of the southern domain in the sky. All the living beings within the shadow looked towards the sky over the southern domain in unison. Among them, Qi Qingmo, who followed the pure-blood human path, was the first to sense the blood qi power emanating from over there. A very familiar feeling. It was the blood qi power that she often absorbed. It was Lin Zikin's blood qi power. What's going on? How could his blood qi power be so vigorous? Qi Qingmo, feeling clearly the high level of Lin Zikin's qi blood strength, frowned slightly, feeling quite puzzled in her heart. She knew Lin Zikin was strong, with an evolutionary talent that was astonishing like none before. But even with such a high evolutionary talent, it was impossible to evolve in such a short amount of time to the extent that he could kill a legendary level creature. What exactly is going on with this young man? Qi Qingmo was very curious about this and eagerly wanted to know the answer. While she was curious, the wood god, who had transformed into a towering tree, gazed into the distance towards the southern domain and murmured to himself, the child of the abyss has also been born. The sky above the southern domain. Lin Zikin, having successfully killed the black phoenix, gathered the surrounding blood mist with a thought, forming it into a dense blood sphere that floated serenely in his hand. Then, with a thought, devour. You have devoured a large amount of the Black Breath Demon Phoenix's life origin, obtaining the biometric attribute Rebirth in Flames. Rebirth in Flames, in a fiery environment, you can be resurrected infinitely. You have devoured a vast amount of origin force from the Black Breath Demon Phoenix, converting it into chi blood and spiritual power. P.S. Begging Bowl out, seeking monthly pass recommendations. Chapter 506, 291. Instant kill the 8-armed demon ape. The whole venue is shocked. Stabilizing his emotions, Lin Zikin focused all his attention on the biometric attribute he had just acquired. Rebirth in Flames, in a fire environment, you can resurrect indefinitely. Resurrect indefinitely in a fire environment? It just so happens that I possess the biometric attribute Flame Breath, which allows me to start fires. During the upcoming fight with Ye Yongsheng, I'll have to set my surroundings ablaze to turn the battlefield into a world of flames and make it my home ground. These thoughts and others occupied his mind for a while. Soon, Lin Zikin's figure flashed, and he returned to the city at his highest speed. A distance of tens of miles was no more than the blink of an eye for him. With a blink of an eye. In the next second, he appeared in the sky above the city. At that moment above the city, Ye Yongsheng was still fiercely battling with the leaders inside, both sides evenly matched, making it difficult to determine the victor. Inside the city was utter chaos. The Earthling side and the Origin land side were endlessly clashing, with the sounds of battle and screams endlessly ringing in the ears. Overall, the Earthling side was at a disadvantage. The reason was that, at the same biological level, Earthlings' physical strength was not a match for the alien races. Buzz! A whooshing sound of tearing through the air exploded. Having surveyed the battle situation, Lin Zikin instantly unleashed his entire chi blood and spiritual power, transforming into a streak of light, shooting like a missile toward the battlefield within the city below. Inside the city, Luo Qingxiu, Zhao Qingxian, Zhang Tao, and several other alien human-level geniuses, under the leadership of instructor Lan Tianbei, were all out assaulting an 8-armed demon ape with a biological level reaching the rare 9th order great perfection. Although there were many alien human-level geniuses participating in the assault on the 8-armed demon ape, as many as 16. However, the 8-armed demon ape's physical resilience was so formidable that it took the full-on assault of this group of geniuses without any harm. It rampaged through the geniuses like a tough bull, charging in every direction. Kyungsoo, quick, freeze it! Seeing the 8-armed demon ape charging like a speeding truck, Lan Tianbei immediately shouted at Luo Kyungsoo. Luo Kyungsoo didn't respond verbally, merely silently unleashed her spiritual power, emitting a vast expanse of crystal-clear light blue frost mist, doing her utmost to freeze the fast-charging 8-armed demon ape in front of her. In an instant, a vast expanse of freezing frost mist swept towards the 8-armed demon ape like a hurricane. Everywhere the frost mist passed, a layer of ice instantly formed, and hailstorm fell from the sky, creating a crisp crackling sound as it hit the ground. Soon, the rapidly charging 8-armed demon ape collided with the oncoming frost mist. Under the corrosion of the frost mist, in just the blink of an eye, the enormous 8-armed demon ape's body was fully coated with a thick layer of ice, becoming an immobile ice sculpture. Just when everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Crack! 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 Sounds of something hard shattering rang out crisply. The next second, the ice that had encased the 8-armed demon ape shattered like broken glass, violently exploding outward in all directions. Several alien human-level geniuses who were too close couldn't react in time to dodge, and their bodies were directly pierced by the sharp ice shards, tearing open shocking wounds from which blood gushed out continuously. Kyungsoo, freeze it again! Seeing the 8-armed demon ape break free from the confines of the ice, Lan Tianbei immediately shouted at Luo Kyungsoo again. Luo Kyungsoo, as usual, didn't make a sound, silently unleashing her spiritual power, trying to generate the bitterly cold frost mist again to immobilize the 8-armed demon ape. But just as a wisp of frost mist formed, Luo Kyungsoo felt a wave of dizziness, her consciousness slightly blurred. Consequently, she failed to produce the frost mist, unable to restrict the 8-armed demon ape's movements like before. During the fierce battle with the 8-armed demon ape, her consumption was too high, and her body's spiritual power was nearly depleted, unable to produce a large area of frost mist in a short period. Lan Tianbei noticed Luo Kyungsoo was overexerting herself, but didn't show much concern, simply shouting at her. Kyungsoo, quickly sacrifice your essence blood, strengthen the little spiritual power you have left, and completely encase the 8-armed demon ape in ice. After shouting that to Luo Kyungsoo, Lan Tianbei immediately yelled at the others. Everyone else, quickly, too. Sacrifice your essence blood to boost your strength, don't be afraid of damaging your potential. Although sacrificing essence blood could damage potential and destroy a talent, in the current situation, they had to bite the bullet and damage it. Otherwise, everyone in the team would die at the hands of the soon-to-be unbound 8-armed demon ape. Zhao Qingxian, Zhang Tao, Fu Zhou, Wu Xia, and other alien human-level geniuses initially hesitated upon hearing this, but then, with a hardened heart, they bit their teeth and sacrificed their body's essence blood, sacrificing their evolutionary potential for a temporary but significant boost in strength. A living genius is still a genius. A dead genius is worthless. Meanwhile, Luo Kyungsoo was caught in a dilemma. Her evolutionary talent was something she took great pride in. She wished to evolve into an epic-level creature, a legendary-level creature, or even the unattainably high mythical-level creature. She did not want to sacrifice her precious evolutionary talent just to deal with that 8-armed demon ape. While she was tangled up in this thought, roar! The 8-armed demon ape completely broke out of the ice. It let out a roar to the sky and then, with bloodshot crimson eyes filled with violence, glared at Luo Kyungsoo in front of it. Next, with a bang, it stomped its feet powerfully, and in the next second, its massive body sprang into the air, hurtling towards Luo Kyungsoo with a speed invisible to the naked eye. It knew that it had just been trapped in the ice because of Luo Kyungsoo's actions. Chapter 507, 291, Instant Kill the 8-armed demon ape. The whole audience is shocked. _2. The alien that could freeze its body was the most threatening enemy it had faced so far. Now, it wanted to eliminate Luo Qingxiu first and rid itself of a potential threat that could emerge later. Get out of the way! As Lan Tianbei charged toward the 8-armed demon ape, stopping it from rushing at Luo Qingxiu, he shouted loudly to her. Luo Qingxiu heard the call and reacted quickly, forcefully retreating sideways while releasing the last of her spiritual power to create a small cloud of ice fog that swept toward the 8-armed demon ape. She didn't expect such a small amount of ice fog to restrain the 8-armed demon ape. She only hoped it would slightly slow its movement. And then, let Lan Tianbei, who had sacrificed his essence blood and significantly increased his strength, deal considerable damage to the 8-armed demon ape. Boom! Suddenly, a deafening sound of collision burst forth. Lan Tianbei swung the big chopper in his hand, pouring the dense blood chi power attached to it into the body of the 8-armed demon ape, which had been slowed by the frost. The next moment, the 8-armed demon ape bled from all 7 orifices, most of its blood vessels on the surface of its body burst, and hot blood spattered everywhere. The blood landed on the ground with a sizzling sound, instantly melting the loose gravel. Crack crack! Suddenly, countless tiny cracks appeared on the blade of the big chopper in Lan Tianbei's hand. Then, in an instant, it shattered. Breaking into numerous small fragments, they fell to the ground, making a series of clatter sounds. In the clash with the 8-armed demon ape's flesh, the big chopper, made of special A-grade alloy, had directly broken into the shadowless blade, with only a broken handle remaining. This is bad. Lan Tianbei's face changed slightly. He had not expected the 8-armed demon ape's body to be so tough that it could shatter a chopper forged from special A-grade alloy. The next second, bang! A loud impact noise erupted. Before Lan Tianbei could comprehend what was happening, he got hit in the face by a fist larger than a human head, and he was instantaneously sent flying. Next, he crashed into a piece of ruined city wall with a loud thud, toppling the entire wall. His face smashed in, covered in fresh blood, he completely lost consciousness and was on the brink of death. Buzz! A sound of something tearing through the air rose. The 8-armed demon ape blinked and charged toward the unconscious Lan Tianbei, ready to deliver the final blow. The alien human-level geniuses present all erupted with their chi blood and rushed over, disregarding their safety, with only one thought in their minds to save Lan Tianbei. Luo Qingxiu, as one of the team members, couldn't hesitate any longer. Without further hesitation and biting her teeth, she was ready to sacrifice her essence blood to enhance her spiritual strength and create a stronger ice fog to freeze the 8-armed demon ape and save the seriously injured and unconscious Lan Tianbei. Just as she was about to sacrifice all the essence blood she could. Buzz! A loud swooshing noise that made every creature's eardrums buzz suddenly sounded from above the city. In this moment, almost every creature looked up following the direction of the swooshing sound. Luo Qingxiu, about to sacrifice the majority of her essence blood to strengthen her spirit, involuntarily looked up toward the sky. The next second, what she saw was a red streak of light in the high sky, shooting rapidly in her direction, or more accurately, towards the 8-armed demon ape charging ahead at high speed. In the blink of an eye. Boom! The red light smashed heavily onto the ground, striking the 8-armed demon ape charging across the terrain with unerring accuracy. At the moment of impact, the entire ground shook violently. The powerful impact stirred up clouds of dust in the air. The situation at the center of the collision was obscured by a wall of dust, leaving nothing visible. All the creatures present could only sense an overwhelming blood chi power emanating from within the dust. Soon, the dust started to settle. A familiar figure gradually came into view of all creatures present. It was Lin Zikan, who had previously killed the sky lion in an instant in the sky. At this time, Lin Zikan stood silently, looking down in a round pit full of cracks. Under his feet lay a headless corpse with 8 arms. It was the body of the 8-armed demon ape. This 8-armed demon ape, which had terrorized an entire team of alien human-level geniuses, now had its enormous head completely crushed underfoot, turning into a puddle of blood on the ground. Under the gaze of all alien human-level geniuses present, Linziken lifted the foot that was crushing the 8-armed demon ape's head, moving it to where the body lay. Then, he stomped down forcefully. Boom! A thunderous stomping noise ensued. The already shattered ground instantly cracked further, creating terrifying new fissures. And atop those fissures, the corpse of the 8-armed demon ape was flattened into a mist of blood, with a strong scent of blood permeating the surrounding air. Suddenly, the scattering blood mist, now faint and diffuse, seemed to be drawn by some invisible force and began gathering rapidly in one direction. Luo Qingxiu, Zhao Qingxian, Zhang Tao, and all the other alien human-level geniuses present were watching intently as the blood mist took on a wisp-like pattern. Witnessing the blood mist as if it possessed a life of its own, it actively flew towards Linziken's hand, quickly gathering into a vigorous blood sphere that quietly floated above his palm. What kind of technique is this? What is Linziken planning to do? All the alien human-level geniuses present were puzzled, not understanding Linziken's actions. Linziken paid no attention to their doubts, silently thinking to himself, "Devour. You have devoured a substantial life origin of 8-armed demon ape, gaining the biometric attribute Tough Body. Tough Body, the strength of your body has greatly increased. You absorbed a large amount of origin force from the 8-armed demon ape, which has been converted into Qi blood and spirit, slightly increasing both your Qi blood strength and spiritual strength. Only a slight increase? It seems that the rare 9th order creatures that were beyond my reach last year are now not even worth getting stuck in my teeth." A wave of emotion washed over Linziken. After his moment of reflection, he suddenly exerted force on his feet, and in an instant, his figure flashed forward, attacking ahead. In front of him lay a vast expanse of alien races, all with extremely strong Qi blood and origin force. He intended to kill this vast group of alien races as fast as possible, to devour their corpses and absorb their life origin and origin force for his own use. Meanwhile, the faces of the alien human-level geniuses behind him bore expressions of shock. Not too long ago, Linziken had been a teammate with them. But in such a short period of time, he had already become an existence of a different level. The others were shocked. Linziken relentlessly slaughtered the alien races. Linziken devoured. Epic 9th Order. Behind him, having successfully evolved to legendary level 1, he explosively killed Ye Yongsheng. Linziken tore Ye Yongsheng apart with his bare hands, stunning everyone else. After killing Ye Yongsheng, Linziken chose to head towards City number 36 in the direction of the southern domain. City number 36, connecting Shanghai City. Worried it might not hold. The origin land is vast. There were obstacles all the way. He traveled for nearly half a month, encountering countless enemies. He evolved along the way. Devoured source crystals. Only then did he successfully arrive in the vicinity of City number 36. Yuan Dongji had just recovered when he joined the battle. Many people were there. Yuan Dongji, Lu Juanwu, Song Yuan, among others. Yuan Dongji was seriously injured and had not fully healed. From high above the central region, the sounds of a big battle could occasionally be heard. A giant tree reaching towards the sky, breaking through the clouds. At that moment, outside City number 36, a grand battle was taking place. The feeling that the city was about to fall was palpable. Entering the central region, delving into the ruins, obtaining power, evolving like mad. The central region is, in fact, the very center of the abyss. The abysses in the other domains are all extensions of the abyss in the central region. Then, legendary level. Afterward, the situation flipped in an instant, with the Sun-Moon Sacred Land side routing the enemy. Eventually, the great battle ended with a resounding victory for the Sun-Moon Sacred Land side. Earthlings completely withdrew from the origin land. Shen Qinghan was still trapped in the palace of the water god and couldn't leave. Thus, Lin Zikan single-handedly defended the lonely city, protecting Shen King Han. City number 1. Finally, with Shen King Han's attributes, Lin Zikan fled with her into the abyss. He discovered it was exactly like the dreams he'd experienced. Later on, the protagonist used the abyss monsters to kill legendary level experts, or mythical level experts. With the abyss at his back, he was the abyss master. Chapter 508, 292, Achieving the Legendary Level. Vice-Governor Ye Yongsheng nears his end. In the city, at the center of the ground battlefield, a massive rock snake, with a body as gigantic as a mountain and unbreakable, wreaked havoc on the surrounding Earth warriors. This rock snake's biological level had reached the peak of epic 9th order, just one step away from evolving into a legendary level creature. With just the movement of its massive body, it could destroy everything in its path, its power of destruction immense. In the center of the battlefield, many Earth warriors died from its lethal tail swipes, crushed into a mass of bloody pulp, beyond any hope of regeneration and repair. Retreat! Quick, retreat! Don't face it head-on! An epic 9th order Earth warrior did his utmost to block the rock snake's tail sweeps while shouting to the others who were engaging the snake. The rock snake's biological level was simply too high, and it was especially known for its defense. Those with lower biological levels could hardly cause it any effective damage. In such a case, besieging it became meaningless. The best option at the moment was to quickly distance themselves from this indestructible rock snake and avoid a direct confrontation. As for the immovable structures in the city, they could only be continuously swept away and destroyed by the snake's vast body, turning into rubble and ruins. But that no longer mattered. With such a large-scale battle erupting, the city was definitely indefensible. Let the buildings collapse as they may. As long as people survived, that was enough. However, a rock snake with a biological level as high as epic 9th order great perfection, if it was determined to kill, those with lower levels could do nothing to escape. In just a moment, numerous slower individuals were overtaken and knocked down by the pursuing rock snake's tail. Their bodies were ground into a mass of bloody pulp by the heavy stone tail, left on the battlefield forever, turning into resentful spirits. Those with biometric attributes above epic level, do not retreat, come back and stop this rock snake from advancing. The same epic 9th order Earth warrior who had just urged everyone to retreat quickly, seeing a large number of lower level compatriots crushed into a mass of pulp by the rock snake, instantly erupted with chi blood and shouted out this command. As soon as the words were out, he turned around and charged back, ready to be the first to lay down his life to stop the rock snake from harming his fellow warriors. Following his lead, many more epic-level Earth warriors went back into the fray. These Earth warriors didn't hesitate at all, sacrificing their chi blood to temporarily boost their own strength significantly, to fight against that overwhelmingly powerful rock snake. Even though sacrificing essence blood could severely damage their potential for evolution. Yet, to save more lives, these epic-level Earth warriors didn't care about sacrificing their chance of evolution. Everything has its extreme dual nature. If there are traitors who would sacrifice the interests of the human race to get evolution resources, conversely, there will also be heroes willing to sacrifice the self for the greater good. Bang! A loud crash resounded. The next second, a figure flew backwards at great speed from ahead, slamming into the ground with a thud, sending dust flying into the air. After a moment, the dust cleared. A deep crater with cracks was left on the ground. In the center of the crater lay a man covered in blood, barely clinging to life. On closer inspection, it turned out to be the same epic 9th order Earth warrior who had led the charge against the rock snake. He, who belonged to the second-tier strength within the city, had been defeated by the rock snake in a single encounter, losing all combat capacity. Bang! 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 Soon, a series of similar sounds followed. Several more figures were thrown backward, slamming into the ground one after another, bursting into a cloud of blood, seeping into the ground, gone for good. Those who fell had only low epic level biological attributes and simply could not withstand the rock snake's full-powered strike, imbued with origin force. We can't hold it off. Retreat. Don't sacrifice yourselves in vain. Seeing those in front being killed by the rock snake in an instant, those behind decided to retreat decisively, refusing to die needlessly. The rock snake seemed to activate some ability. A deep blue light radiated from its entire body. Its head split into 8. It became a serpent with 8 heads. After that, its power, speed, defense, and other biometric attributes all surged dramatically. Even a casual strike gravely injured the epic 9th Order Earth Warriors. They weren't even given a chance to put up a fight. While the epic level Earth Warriors retreated, the 8-headed rock snake suddenly stopped pursuing them. It stood straight from its 7th cervical vertebra above the ground, aiming its 8 ferocious heads at those retreating Earth Warriors. Roar, roar, roar! Engine-like roars started to fill the air. From the mouths of the 8 heads, a blinding deep blue light began to glow. As the light grew brighter and brighter, the next second, 8 terrifying energy beams shot out from the mouths of the serpent, targeting those retreating epic-level Earth Warriors. Everything they touched was instantly vaporized, even the air was obliterated into nothingness. 2 of the epic-level Earth Warriors were unlucky enough to be hit directly by the energy beams and were annihilated into nothingness, not even a trace of chi blood left behind. One of the epic-level Earth Warriors had his right arm grazed by the energy beam, instantly vaporizing half his flesh, unable to regenerate or repair, becoming a disabled one-armed man for life. The remaining epic-level Earth Warriors lucky enough to avoid the disaster trembled uncontrollably, filled with fear from deep within their hearts. Chapter 509, 292, Achieving the Legendary Level. Vice-Governor Ye Yongsheng nears his end, _2. With their biological level reaching epic, they were revered leaders in the city and dominating overlords on Earth. Yet, at this moment on the battlefield, facing the invading alien race experts, they were as feeble as ants, easily crushed to death. The disparity was overwhelming, inducing a profound sense of powerlessness, leaving no room for courage to resist. Boom, boom, boom! The familiar roar of engines sounded once more. The Orokai rock snake began to gather energy for another round, ready to unleash its energy beam and attack the remaining epic-level Earth experts. Seeing the deep blue light emanating from the 8 snake heads, the surviving epic-level Earth experts all showed faces of despair, filled with overwhelming fear. Just as the energy beam was about to erupt, and the many epic-level Earth experts resigned themselves to fate. Whoosh! An explosive sound of breaking through the air suddenly resounded. The next second, a streak of red light swept past the Orokai rock snake, the 8 massive heads instantly severed from their necks and heavily crashing to the ground with loud thuds. Before the creatures present could even comprehend what had happened. Boom! A deafening collision echoed. At the moment the sound resonated, the creatures saw a slender young figure suddenly appearing in front of the decapitated rock snake, hovering in the air, raising his right fist and furiously punching the decapitated rock snake. Immediately, the decapitated rock snake exploded, turning into a vast cloud mixed with strands of crimson deep blue mist, rapidly dispersing in the air. Was it Lin Zikin? When they recognized that the person who obliterated the Orokai rock snake with a punch was Lin Zikin, those who survived the ordeal were momentarily stunned, their faces showing disbelief as everything seemed surreal. In their minds, Lin Zikin had always been a newcomer who had recently begun his training in the origin land. His evolutionary talent was earth-shatteringly brilliant. The future was promising. With just some time to develop, he would eventually become one of Earth's top experts. But the scene unfolding before them shattered their perceptions. Lin Zikin didn't need any training or evolution, he had simply transformed into one of Earth's top experts after some time out of sight. With just a simple punch, he was able to obliterate a rock snake, nearly reaching the legendary level creature, turning it into a blast of mist and completely annihilating it. His strength was so immense that it shattered the understanding of all creatures present. Linziken noticed the shocked glances around him. But he didn't mind them. He simply raised his hand to gather all the surrounding mist, condensing it into a deep blue water orb with strands of red, and then with a thought, devour. You have devoured a large amount of the Orokai rock snake's life origin, acquiring the biometric attribute Unbreakable. Unbreakable, the defensive strength of your physical body has been greatly enhanced. You have devoured a large amount of origin force from the Orokai rock snake, converting it into chi blood and spirit. Your chi blood strength and spiritual strength have both received substantial improvements. Only improved this much? An alien race of epic 9th order great perfection only brought me such slight improvements. Linziken, feeling the boost in chi blood strength and spiritual strength within his body and noting that the enhancement was quite less compared to what he gained from devouring a legendary level alien corpse, shook his head and sighed deeply in his heart. Actually, the improvement was not great at all, it was simply that his appetite had grown. Having devoured a legendary level alien before, devouring an epic level alien now felt no longer thrilling. Quickly stabilizing his emotions, Linziken, under the watchful eyes of many epic level Earth experts, swiftly flew towards another part of the battlefield. There, a large number of alien races were waiting for him to harvest and devour. Elsewhere, Shen Qinghan was using her exquisite water control abilities to save the injured and dying on the battlefield, preserving many Earth compatriots' lives. Meanwhile, she multitasked, attending to the injured while keeping most of her attention on Linziken in the distance, constantly monitoring his movements. Seeing Linziken slicing through all the alien races along his way like cutting melons and vegetables, turning them into corpses and then absorbing them for his use, she felt as if she was seeing the image of Qi Qingmo. Linziken is becoming more and more like the pavilion master. Shen Qinghan watched Linziken from afar, murmuring involuntarily. From a distance, Linziken sensed Shen Qinghan's gaze. But he didn't pay much attention. He focused solely on relentlessly killing the alien races. Be it rare, epic, or even legendary level. He obliterated all he encountered with a single punch, turning them into a mist of blood, completely devouring them. For personal use. As he devoured and absorbed more and more origin force, Linziken could distinctly feel that both his chi blood strength and spiritual strength had reached a critical point. It seemed he was about to break through to the legendary level, allowing his body to evolve to the category of legendary level. Realizing this, Linziken felt a surge of exhilaration in his heart. It was coming. He was about to evolve into a legendary level creature. Linziken did not stay exhilarated for too long. Soon, he flashed his figure and rushed into a nearby herd of beasts, going on a rampage and frantically devouring origin force. He didn't know how long he had devoured for. Just as he had devoured the body of an exotic beast of the high legendary first order, a text notification slowly appeared in the void. Your biological level has successfully evolved from epic 9th order to legendary first order. The moment the notification appeared, Linziken's entire mind felt as if it had been bombed. Experiencing unbearable swelling pain and utter chaos. Fortunately, this discomfort vanished in a blink. In its place, Linziken felt his body brimming with power, his chi blood strength and spiritual strength both at the peak of his lifetime, completely transformed. At the same time, a tremendous phenomenon occurred in the sky above the city. The figure of a tall young man was projected high into the sky. Under the watchful eyes of numerous creatures below, countless beams of golden light appeared out of nowhere, shimmering with dazzling brilliance, and poured into the figure of the tall young man, becoming part of him. Then, the figure of the young man refracted a radiant light that illuminated the entire city below. Afterward, like a burnt-out candle, it dimmed suddenly and gradually disappeared from the sight of the creatures below. The phenomenon in the sky had disappeared, but all the creatures present who had witnessed it still had faces full of shock, their eyes filled with disbelief. He had ascended to the legendary level. Linziken had actually ascended to become a legendary level creature. How did he do it? It's incredible. Unbelievable. At this moment, all the creatures that witnessed Lin Zikin's evolution to the legendary level felt utterly perplexed, unable to believe it was true. Because it was just too preposterous. A young man who had barely turned 20 had evolved into a legendary level creature. This directly shattered all the present creatures' understanding of evolution, making them question their own lives. Starting to introspectively consider. Looking back on their own paths of evolution over the years, wondering if there were any crucial yet relatively hidden aspects that had been overlooked. Above the city, in that legendary level battlefield, Ye Yongsheng was engaged in a fierce battle with the city's leaders, fighting back and forth with no clear winner, and it seemed to continue for quite a while. Just as both sides tacitly agreed to this conflict. Suddenly, a phenomenon appeared in the sky above them, which occurs only when a creature successfully ascends to the legendary level. Seeing the phenomenon, Ye Yongshen's face subtly changed. Immediately, he sent out a thread of spiritual power to Lin Zikin's side to see if Lin Zikin had really evolved to the legendary First Order. After sensing carefully 3 times and confirming that Lin Zikin had indeed successfully evolved into a legendary level creature, Ye Yongsheng panicked. Gone was the previously calm and composed demeanor. What remained was only the fear of Lin Zikin's incredible evolutionary talent. This young man was growing too fast. He must not be allowed to live. With that thought, Ye Yongshen's eyes hardened, and he frantically sacrificed his essence blood. He wanted to greatly enhance his own strength, break free from the entanglement of those around him who were epic-level experts, and then eliminate Lin Zikin, this great threat, as quickly as possible. He must not be allowed to live. Thinking this, Ye Yongshen's eyes hardened, and he frantically sacrificed his essence blood. He wanted to greatly enhance his own strength, break free from the entanglement of those around him who were epic-level experts, and then eliminate Lin Zikin, this great threat, as quickly as possible. P.S. Bowing down, asking for monthly pass and recommendation tickets. Chapter 510, 293. The battle is on the brink of breaking out. A fight to the death with Vice-Governor Ye Yongsheng. As essence blood was continually sacrificed, the degree of Ye Yongshen's transformation deepened further. In an instant, he transformed from a half-man half-beast form into a completely exotic beast. His pupils were crimson, filled with bloodshot venation. Wings grew on his back, the surface covered in flesh spikes. Atop his head were 2 massive horns, continually circulating with blood chi power. His whole body's muscles bulged prominently, filled with explosive power. His massive and robust body stood before the city leaders, attacking him like an insurmountable 10,000-meter mountain, immensely oppressive. Boom! A terrifying explosion was heard. The completely transformed Ye Yongshen's body suddenly erupted with immense pressure, shattering the surrounding air like broken glass. Those city leaders who were attacking him were blown away by this force. Each one bled from all orifices, severely injured. A few weaker ones were even shaken to the point of soul disturbance, losing consciousness on the spot. Having dealt with the nearby nuisances, Ye Yongsheng dashed towards Lin Zikin in a flash. His speed was so fast that it rubbed against the air, producing a piercing sound of breaking through the air, tearing numerous shocking spatial cracks. Having transformed into an exotic beast, his strength had increased significantly, ascending directly to the legendary 9th order. Only a step away from the supreme mythical level creature. Such a rise in biological level in a short period of time required an unimaginable price. The biggest cost was that the body transformed into an exotic beast could not revert to the human form. However, this was not a problem for Ye Yongsheng. He had been stationed here in Origin Land for many years, entering countless ancient and mysterious ruins, and had obtained a large number of rare treasures. Among these treasures was a pitch-black mysterious bead that could allow his own consciousness to invade another creature's consciousness and supplant it. In layman's terms, it was soul possession. Now, having been stuck at the legendary level for countless years and finding his evolution path blocked, he planned to possess Lin Zikin's miraculous body to break into the mythical level creature status. In doing so, not only could he reopen his previously closed evolution path, but he could also rid himself of the alien race's control. His rise to vice-governor and evolution to a high-order legendary powerhouse could not have been achieved without the support of the alien races. To gain the support of the alien races, he had to sell himself to them. His body was now filled with the alien race's safeguards. If he dared to be disloyal, the alien races could effortlessly take his life at any moment. Quick, stop him! Stop this despicable traitor! Don't let him get close to Lin Zikan. Seeing Ye Yongsheng transformed into an exotic beast flying swiftly towards Lin Zikan, a white-haired, bearded city leader immediately shouted to alert his colleagues. As he shouted, he had already burst forth with all his chi blood, frantically sacrificing his essence blood to catch up to Ye Yongsheng at the fastest speed and prevent the traitorous deputy city lord from getting close to Lin Zikan. Although his biological level was inferior to Ye Yongsheng's, fortified by the powerful flying exotic beast gene in his body, he flew in front of Ye Yongsheng in the blink of an eye, blocking his path. You overestimate yourself. Seeing the old man who came to stop him, Ye Yongsheng's eyes were full of disdain. The white-haired elder, hearing these words, felt no fluctuation in his heart. He was well aware that with his own strength, it was impossible to stop Ye Yongsheng from approaching Lin Zikan. However, normal methods wouldn't work. If he resorted to unconventional methods, there was still a chance for success. Lord Yat, unlike you, I don't betray my people for personal gain, instead, I would sell myself for the benefit of my people. The white-haired elder said these words calmly, his body's chi blood and spirit completely depleted in the process, turning into a surging energy expanding within him. Feeling the energy expanding within the white-haired elder, Ye Yongsheng's face abruptly changed, swearing. You fucking madman! As the curse fell, the body of the white-haired elder in front of Ye Yongsheng began to inflate like a balloon, fissures glowing red bursting across his body. Then, only a bang was heard. The body of the white-haired elder exploded. An explosive force many times more terrifying than a nuclear blast rapidly spread from the exploded body of the white-haired elder, destroying everything it touched. Ye Yongsheng, being closest, was hit by this explosive force first. His mountainous body was blown away like a kite with its string cut. The other city leaders, slightly further away, were also unable to withstand the impact, flying backwards violently. The city below was not spared either, many creatures were affected, shaking until blood ran from all orifices, severely injured. Some lower biological level creatures were even shaken to death, their souls shattered, leaving lifeless bodies permanently on this devastated battlefield. Far away, Lin Zikan, sensing the powerful energy impact, instantly teleported in front of Shen Qinghan and shielded her with his body. About 10 seconds later, the shockwave generated by the white-haired elder's self-destruction finally subsided. Lin Zikan lifted his head and surveyed his surroundings. The view that met his eyes was either utterly destroyed or covered with corpses.